She is a doctor, but not of the medical kind. She is a staunch believer of Japanese philosophy, Wabi Sabi and Kintsugi. She is a venture-preneur who presently manages 6 ventures founded by her, apart from mentoring some in the startup space. An NLP practitioner, a life transformation coach, and a certified EQ Evaluator, Dr. Ruby completed her MSc in Economics from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, Masters in Music from Chandigarh, and MBA from IIM Calcutta. She is also accredited trainer in the field of soft skill and image management. Today, Ruby will be sharing with us the significance and science of first impression. So let's call upon stage Dr. Ruby and hear from her. Dr. Ruby.
I just have a feeling that I'm being judged. The way I'm dressed, the way I'm talking, the way I might be walking around on the stage, the way I'm using my gestures and postures, all of these. Is that a yes? No? I'm glad. Subconsciously, you might be. What happens is there is a rule called 7-11. The first 7 seconds of someone you see new, subconsciously or unconsciously you judge on 11 things about that person right away. And what also happens is something called a primacy effect. Ritika right now primed you about what to expect from me. So you will have an expectation. Let me tell you a story. This was way back when I was a college student and I was supposed to go and meet this gentleman to write up something. And then I have a little relaxed idea of time. So I walk into this restaurant 15 minutes later than what I was supposed to, didn't find this gentleman, felt great about it, sat down, waited for some time and some more. This gentleman never turned out. Later I was to understand this gentleman came, waited for 6 minutes and walked away. I mean, I was like, seriously, who does that? Much later, I had to take up a project with him and I was conscious of this fact. So I was on time the first time, the 4th time, the 8th time, the 10th time. However, on the 11th time, I was not on time. The reason, the flight got rescheduled. The meeting went on, but his expression to my junior colleagues, oh my God, she has never been respectful of time of herself or anyone else, which brings me to 3 V's that we need to be cognizant of. The vocal, the verbal, and the visual communication. All of these create a long-lasting effect on all our lives, and that first impression is formed by 7, 38, and 55 seconds of meeting anyone. So what happens is, when you are speaking to someone, they will only remain, that will only remain 7% of the visual impact that you create. How you gesture, posture, use your etiquette or your communication is the next 38%. And the 55% is the visual impact that you create. As Ralph Waldo Emerson would say, what you do speaks so loud that I don't hear what you say. We all know the light travels much faster than the sound. And our visual cues, we all are human beings with visual cues. Our visual cues are much stronger. Which brings me to this concept of ethos in the Greek philosophy, where they say you are perceived by your visual cues so much so that they decide, are you trustworthy? Will you be able to deliver a work? And whether you'll be able to make an inspirational leader or not. Which brings us to 2 H's. What are these H's? The halo and the horn effect. Halo is the moment I see you, I decide whether you have a halo around your head or not, and I decide to trust you. However, we all have a negativity bias. So the first thing that we noticed about anything is if there's a mismatch between the way they're talking and the way they are behaving, we move on to the horn effect, which is, it's the danger signal of our primal instinct, and we run that way. So how do we use this 7 seconds to influence the kind of first impression that we want to give to our audience. We have to take cognizance of three concepts. There's a role, there's a goal, and an occasion. Just to give an example, let's say my sister-in-law is about to get married. I have the occasion, I have the role. Occasion is the sister-in-law, my occasion is the wedding, and sister-in-law is the bride. What is my goal? I cannot be overshadowing my sister-in-law the way I dress up. How do I go about it? I reverse engineer the entire thing. My occasion is a wedding in the family. Role is that of the bhabi. And my goal is to ensure whatever I do, I cannot overshadow my sister-in-law in the way I dress up. So this also happens in your professional space, in your personal space, and I talked of a social thing. Final thing about this is practice. You have to practice, practice, and practice, and one cannot overstress this anymore than this. And when you practice, it becomes a part of you. You imbibe it, and when you do it, it comes naturally. It doesn't feel like you've taken it from someone else, which is when you reach the fourth V for today, which is the vibes. You vibe the way you start practicing. So here is what I will tell you about another lady I had met. This young lady had got her PhD done from a very premium institute abroad. She was pursued by a local institution here of repute, and she was actually given the role of a lecturer at a very high cost. 3 months down the line, there was a lot of uncertainty about it. The institute waited another 3 months and connected with me and said, can you mediate and figure out a midway where we can make her happy and make ourselves happy, make the staff happy, make the students happy, and have an amicable relationship, or we cut the relationship. So I met this lady, and it turns out that the institute wanted her on rolls because she had a global standing on her chosen academic field, and they wanted to capitalize on that. However, the way she dressed, her body language, whatever talking she did, and the way she carried herself created that horn effect. She was seen as an outsider, her accent came in the way, the attire she came in the way, and the fact that she didn't bother smiling, which is not incorrect in her position. She was a high achiever with high IQ. However, she did not manage to fit in. After many sessions later, she kind of transformed into someone who could fit in with her surroundings, and let me assure you, she became a resounding success in her field. So much so that she is an acclaimed person in her academic field nationally, globally. Anyone you meet her will know her. The pictures are representative. However, what happened was she did not become a winner in the present institute. She had to move the town, she had to move the institute. Therefore, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, we never get a second chance to create the first impression. Thank you very much.